Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Media True Nerd, and welcome back to Medieval 2 Total War, where last time our empire started to take shape quite nicely. In fact, we made our first friends, the Polish are our allies. They have indeed not attacked us yet, so, you know, that's a good starting point for an alliance. They haven't actually tried to murder us. The Imperials haven't made a move yet, though they do have troops massed right outside our border. Quite a significant number of troops, and yeah, our castles are a little bit undefended, mainly because our armies have all marched north to seize some very valuable territory up here in some other Scandinavian territories. Scandinavians all together. Denmark, I believe, is technically referred to as a Scandinavian nation. So let's head north, get some of Norway, get some of Sweden, and I had a thought, ladies and gentlemen, which is I just kind of noticed something right now, which is if I kind of go over here, Helsinki, apparently, is still rebel, which actually really surprises me, because over here, the Russians started, I don't remember exactly where they're starting to see, it's somewhere right here, pretty much, and Helsinki is somewhere pretty much right here, so like, it should be one of the first regions that the Russians actually take over, but they appear to have not done so, and as you can see there, just a number of resources, fish, furs, dyes, more furs, it's a very valuable region, so though it kind of puts me a little bit close to the Russians, and it does spread out my empire a little bit further, if I could do a clean sweep for Norway, Sweden, and then Finland, though I imagine like most of those are anachronistic terms for the 12th century, but what have you, yeah, that would be really nice indeed. So Admiral Bjorn over here, he's just going to pop in here, and I think we need to go and send our army, or most of it, over in that direction. Now, King Canoodle, do you have anything you can buy here? Because we're running a little bit shy on... Yeah, you know what? Every time. Buy some more mercenary spearmen. Lovely. And coming along is, yeah, all of you guys, I think, assuming, yes, indeed, this village is tiny, it's fine for now. So just a single group of peasant archers is hanging out over there. And then if we just head over to here, can you get them ashore over there? Not quite by the looks of things. No, can't quite get us ashore, but that's fine. Yeah, we've got Helsinki up here, still technically rebel, though there is a possibility the Russians have already got it besieged over here. If so, we'll just pull back. It'll be a turn waste, nothing more. But Riga down here is indeed Russian territory. So, our first run-in with the actual Russians here, we will be, well, we won't actually just be looking at them over the sea and looking suspiciously at each other. No. Instead, we are going to be on a landmass then, with a land border right next to them. So, that could potentially go down badly. We'll have to see about that. Yeah, meanwhile, good old Prince Charles up here just waiting out Oslo. Marvellous. Now, when that mercenary bought, we are, yeah, we're very low on money. That's why we just desperately need as much as possible. Oh, by the way, thank you to the comments who let me know. I didn't know this, actually. I'm not sure this was a thing in Rome Total War. Villagers, the threshold of population for them to become towns is actually 800. So while I could get this thing up to a town, like, next turn, if I set the tax rate to low. Would that work? I think that would... Actually, no, I don't think that would be quite enough. I think it's going to take 2 turns anyway, so I may as well whack up the tax rate as high as possible, because then I can actually squeeze in the land clearance. Other than that, I'd say our house, let's actually start economic development over there. I'm going to get a market underway, because I'd like another merchant on the field, because this merchant is about to start making some very good money. 38 florins a turn, it's only 4 out of 7. He's going to get better a lot yet. Speaking of Charles, by the way, Admiral John, good old hero Admiral John, he should head north, assuming there's the pirates aren't still around. No, I think the pirates have wandered off towards England. We said Admiral John north, ready to go and collect Prince Charles and bring him home as soon as Oslo's taken care of. So I wouldn't mind having a family member down south just in case the Imperials are thinking of attacking. My diplomat, though he's out of moves, has actually found the Pope. I like the Pope. If he's in your army, he actually gets his own little unique thing. He gets to be the Pope in his army, which is very cool indeed. So there he is, Pope Gregory the Pope, unsurprisingly, who sits around, much like the Senate used to do in Rome Total War, with a very strong army. Do not underestimate Italian troops. Italian troops, even like the Spear Militia, are so damn good. Spear Militia are so much better in Italy than they are in the rest of the world. Italian Spear Militia, do not underestimate them. Basically, just don't attack this whole bit of the world, this Italian bit if you like, unless you're really sure you can pull it off. Because Italian militias are some of the nastiest in the game. Anyway, I think that's enough for this turn. And then the turn, see who comes in next. The Imperials are pulling away. Good. Hopefully, they don't want trouble with us. Milan the first to get paved roads on the entire map as far as I can see. Well done to them. Oh, no. The Pope already had them. Good old Italy. And things, for the moment at least, still looking a little bit on the secure side. Marvellous. Now, there's still... Yep, this is still technically rebel territory up here. And there is Helsinki. Ha. Screw you, Russia. Screw you so hard, we're going to get in just before you can. Nice, the Russians were literally moving to secure this right now. I'm guessing that that is the Russian capital, somewhere very close by, and we're going to get it before they can. Oh, that is so beautiful. And Helsinki comes under siege. In fact, actually, as it's been damaged, the Russians already had a go at this, but failed. They fluffed it. Oh, that is a shame for you. Basic modern Bailey Castle, 2 Viking Raiders, 2 crossbowmen. Yep, we should be fine with that. I mean, it's not nothing, but if I feel like we're undermanned, I can just recruit some more mercenaries to help out. And bear in mind, end of this turn, Oslo will be coming out to attack. I'm not sure they have an option to surrender. I think they have to attack if they run out of time. Though we should just be able to shoot them down, because at this point they are fairly well weakened. Now, Stockholm situation, yeah, they are up to 788, so plus 1.5% growth. Now, if my maths is right, that would give a boost of 117 next turn, which would be just enough. But just in case my maths is wrong, I'm actually just going to lower the tax rate by 1 level just to be sure. There we are, high tax rate plus 2%, that'll definitely be enough. I just want to make sure these guys get up to 800, so the moment this is done, we can put this straight into a village. Or rather a town, sorry. And here's a good way to save some money. I could actually move this spear militia back up here to our house for retraining and also becoming a garrison member. And also you can see the new retraining system going on here, so I can retrain the peasants even though they're at full strength, because I've just constructed the leather tanner here, so therefore I can actually give anyone who can be armoured padded armour. If I want to do that, however, it does fill up one of my 3 slots. You cannot just retrain mass units anymore. It is a sad change from Rome Total War, but it is one I do agree with. I think I can actually put armour on. Can I put armour on anything? No, I can't actually upgrade my mercenary spearmen with more armor, because it actually does say, when you click on them, what the next armor upgrade would be. So I can upgrade, yeah, these guys with padded, but if I want to upgrade my Huskars, then to upgrade them, I'm actually going to be needing the heavy mail upgrade, which I think comes off armorer, so we can't make any changes to them for quite some time, because they're already very well armored. But you know what, why not? I want to actually just get these guys up to strength, and I may as well kind of top up you so you've actually got some proper leather armour on you. Now, who else needs some farming upgrades? Magdeburg had an excellent harvest to make 238. 221 on an average harvest in Stettin alone. You know what? You guys, you can have communal farming. Let's just get more and more money in from that. Now, you've probably noticed by now, I'm a little bit shy on the old generals. We've only got our 2 starting generals, plus we've got, if we go over to the family tree, yeah, we will indeed have a new princess coming in soon, together with Ingrid, who, oh, she's gone down to, unlucky. There's not much you can do to avoid this. Sometimes princesses just end up picking up bad traits like bruised confidence. So, of course, she's had many suitors, but we've turned them all down because we wanted her to keep going around doing the diplomacy business. So eventually, just by coincidence, she's picked up bruised confidence. So she's down to 4 out of 10. I should probably marry her off at some point. Like, because she hasn't picked up any, like, really good traits like intelligent or something, she's unlikely to at this point. So, actually, you are... No, you're a Moorish merchant. Can't negotiate with you, unfortunately. Let's send her over to Venice. We still need to speak to them. Right, trade write some map information for these guys. Don't need anything else, really. And, of course, that was technically a mission as well. So we've got... I've been awarded 2 units of peasants. They promised me some of the best units going. They've given me 2 units of peasants at our house. This is what my nobles can field. 2 units of peasants. Thank you, nobles. Thank you oh so flipping much. But yes, indeed, we are a little bit shy on family members. Potentially, yes. Because I've now got myself, what, 5 territories, soon to be 7, that means I should start sending some armies around who are just captains, because basically the game will now start promoting captains like crazy. Unlike Rome Total War, however, they won't be family members. They'll be generals which are separate and don't actually show up in the family tree. So I can't make any of them like the factioner. Sadly, the days of Julianus Vatinius coming out of nowhere, being made factioner and being faction leader the next year, can't be done. Medieval 2 just doesn't happen. That's why you need to take really, really good care of your family, because you're kind of stuck with a very small number of them. So instead, we just need to send some captains around who can fight some battles, and then they will be promoted to generals pretty damn quickly, because the game sees that my balance of towns to generals is currently out of kilter. So yes, as for Ingrid, she's unlikely to get too much better now, and she hasn't picked up any great traits. So, basically, I've got a choice for what to do with her, which is either I just basically accept someone who gets generated at the beginning of each turn, and then they'll just appear in my town. She'll disappear off the map, they'll appear in my town as well. So maybe she's ready to have that done to her. Or I could try and snipe enemy generals if I wanted one, if any of them really took my fancy. But because she's only 4 out of 10, her chance of being able to snipe anyone too amazing is not that spectacular. Alternatively, you're allowed to marry one of your own generals. So say if I've got a captain who gets promoted to a general, and I want to actually bring him into the family proper, so he could theoretically become factionary and faction leader one day, then I'm going to need to actually marry one of my own princesses to him. Though to be honest, that's a little bit of a waste. I'd rather not do that if I can avoid it. Instead, to my mind, the best thing you can do is just kind of snipe off an enemy general who you really, really like the look of. But for the time being, I'm not sure there's anyone spectacular. I'm just going to send my spy over here to Frankfurt, see if he sees anything particularly interesting. You are a general who's okay. I mean, you've got decent loyalty, okay. I may just kind of... Oh, he's 41. I don't want to kind of swap her out for a 41-year-old general. I'd rather go for someone younger. I'm just going to send my spy around. See if you can find, like, anyone really good floating around. I think maybe she can start heading up north. Princesses actually allow you to do a really sneaky thing, which is princesses. If there's a general present, you can basically see them because you can see how likely you are to be able to marry them. So if I click here, for example, I know there's no unmarried general in range. I can click there, and then I can click here, and then I can click up here on this castle, and I've found myself a general. Now, this isn't a way of knowing with absolute certainty that there's not actually going to be like a heavy cavalry bodyguard unit in the town, because the general could, for example, already be married, in which case they won't show up here. But it is a way of detecting whether or not there's a general and getting a quick look at their stats, even though you don't actually get a proper look at them because it's retinue and traits unknown. But I can use that to just quickly have a little glance around at where I would like my spy to wander off to, if anywhere, so I can see whether there's anyone here. So we've got him. He's 36, he's very loyal. I might send my spy close by, and I might just kind of have her just walk a little bit further north, just in case I'm interested in that happening. But I'm going to start sending her north. We'll kind of dispose of her pretty soon. And this guy has made his way down to Rome. Marvellous. Now, of course, we're going to give the Pope a very, very good deal. Trade rights, map information, and map information.
I am afraid I must deny you today.
Okay, that's fine. We don't really need map information off you, to be honest, because, you know, you literally have one city and we've already found it, so I'm going to say that.
Glad to agree on this. Another proposition?
And he is now up to pleased. And now, just for fun, I'm just basically going to give him 100 florins as a gift, because he's the Pope.
I see no problem here. It is agreed.
Marvellous. So he's actually thrilled about that. This is what you can do if you need to get the Pope standing out. You can just give him favourable deals. And sometimes, if you need to, just literally pour money at him. So my relations with the Papal States have now improved. So as a result, if I go over to the Pope, yeah, I'm now actually the most liked faction in Christendom. So if I need the Pope to do something for me, he's going to be more inclined to do it. The Pope is pretty bloody cheap, really. You can just filter just a tiny bit of money his way. He'll really come round to your way of thinking. Now, I may as well get a mustering hall in Magdeburg, and that's pretty much all my flipping money burnt. But we should have plenty coming in soon, because yes, we are on the cusp of having a town here. Oslo should be coming out as soon as I end this turn, and after that, Helsinki will be ours. Interesting, the Imperials are sending more troops towards Prague. Possibly they failed to take it last time. And we have got ourselves a Holy Roman Empire merchant coming this way, coming towards our very, very good merchant. That could work for me. Yeah, I'll gladly... Ooh, 2 of them, in fact. Okay, we will simply snipe off whichever of them is the weakest, and then take it... Oh, wow. Okay, the Imperials are just pouring merchants everywhere. Right, well, we are going to be swimming in money. No, no, no. No, you don't. This is my castle now. Screw you. And out come the rebels to attack the prince, but they are weakened, and on the open field we will easily be able to take care of this. Yeah, they are down to pretty much 119 per unit of Viking raiders, and yeah, 95 per crossbow militia. We shall just fall back. This should not be too difficult to do. We've got the cavalry, they don't. That should pretty much neutralise their crossbowmen. Let's take care of this. Now, what do we have here? Just stop here. Everyone, just put down your siege equipment, please. Thank you. Now, they are going to have to come outside and fight. And nothing up on the balcony. Fine. So we should probably just fall back and let them come to us. Instead, just form up a nice, sensible line here. Everyone just start running. Archers at the back. Nice little row of guys at the front. Here we go. Looks like crossbow militia starting to run forward. They are probably already at the point where they're going to start thinking about... reloading, but I think potentially if they want to send their guys up front here, let's just send our cavalry just to harass them a little bit, make sure they don't... Ooh! Are they actually planning to you know, like, fire or anything. No, they're just basically kind of charging. Right, we've managed to chase them off. Good. You guys just into here. Lovely. So my king is just going to hit these guys. Just keep him distracted. He's run into the Viking Raiders. Let's back off. I don't want him taking any knocks unnecessarily. Instead, we'll just actually have cavalry moving around the side here. And where are these guys? Yeah, there's some crossbow guys. I basically just want to keep the crossbow guys dancing, which I can do by just kind of moving my cavalry backwards and forwards. So round the outside and onto these crossbow militia too. We'll just kind of run into them, do a bit of damage, and then back off because the charge bonus is already gone now. So now we'll just back off. And we'll just basically kind of keep juggling between these two units of cavalry. And in come my guys. Didn't get a proper charge in there. Hitting these guys. Do a fair bit of damage. My own crossbowmen are doing pretty nicely as well. My own archers at the back are doing pretty nicely. The Viking Raiders are trying to push my scouts out. I'm just going to pull my king back for a second. Don't want him taking any hits. And I'm pretty sure a few Viking Raiders have now got involved. Lovely. So let's just pull him back over here. But yeah, at this point, so far, I think the crossbow militia have barely fired. So that's pretty much what I wanted to see. Now, someone's got one ranting because these guys are taking a light tap. But I suspect, yes, indeed. We do indeed have someone's firing. So in which case, you guys, go and get these guys. And these guys, I think we could just charge with our king right now. But other than that, yeah, this is the only group that's firing. It's already weak, and my horses now have a direct line at them. We'll just smash into them, smash into these guys. You guys, I want you to basically, like, hold your positions, please. And as soon as these guys have been chased off, and my own king is kind of ramming into his own guys there. These guys have already broken. Beautiful. That'll be a good first stage to a rout. Those guys have been chased off. Let's just get these guys back out of here for a second, and my horse is doing a great job chasing them off already. Scouts have actually barely taken any damage at all, which is kind of lucky. Looks like everything more or less is routing at this point. So, crossbow militia are trying to pursue, which is interesting. I'm being chased down. My horses are being chased down by flipping crossbowmen. So that's nice. So just slam into you. You should already be wavering, to be honest. Just go for these guys, and hopefully they'll break pretty soon. Yeah? Everyone feeling good? Right, something's broken over there. And you've broken too. Yep, and at this point we should just be able to... yep, they've broken as well. Now we can pretty much just ride down a very big number of guys. There's like a little bit left here, but not too much. Some of the Viking Raiders have regrouped a little bit. They're not actually going inside, which is interesting. Are they going to go in now? No. They're kind of acting like they've lost control of the gates, but they haven't, so I'm not sure what they're doing. But my main infantry's barely taken a knock so far. These guys are just continuing to fight. Oh, no, guys. Don't be in flipping skirmish mode. Go on, back forward a bit, please. Well, if these Viking Raiders are determined to try and pursue my scouts, I'm just going to shoot them with archers as we go. Yep, you can see them taking some very serious knocks from the archers there. Let's just hit them in the side. They'll break almost immediately, and then we can wrap up literally everything. This is as good as over. So in come my scouts. These guys will almost certainly break immediately. Just turn my archer fire elsewhere. Over here, in fact. Lovely. In comes my king. Yep, these guys are breaking. My king's going to come in. Hit these guys. These guys are now going to swing over here. Hit these guys. And that should be a total collapse. Aside, irritatingly, from a small number of flipping crossmen right here who have got these towers working. No, never mind. They've abandoned these towers. That's good. Right, by now, everything should be broken. You guys get on this. You guys get in here, because I think if you can just break these two units, that should be your lot. And one more to go. Come on, just break the one remaining unit, and that's it. We got ourselves a victory here. So go after these lads, and that's it. Job done.
All civilized peoples will be awed by the victory we have won here today.
So, 45 men lost to 600 killed. Obviously, that's the advantage of us being able to draw up. It would very likely have been potentially the other way around if we'd actually gone and attacked the city. Or rather, we'd have done the same amount of damage, but we'd have probably taken hundreds of damage in return just off the flipping towers. So, waiting out a siege, definitely a better idea in Medieval 2. And that means the town falls to us, or rather the castle. Lovely. In it goes. Occupy it. Don't want to destroy it. Thank you. And there we are, just as I was actually saying, the game has actually got so desperate for me to have more generals at this point. We've actually got into flipping benefactors at this point. So it's not even captains worthy of promotion. It's just literally the game saying, my god, you've got so many cities and not of generals. Here, have some flipping generals for goodness sake. So, we've picked up Swain of Tasselec. Swain of Tasselec. I can't pronounce either of these words, so that's unfortunate. And, ooh, we've got a crusade. We actually have a crusade. Hello. And it's to Cairo. Okay, that's nice and far afield. I'm kind of surprised we haven't actually got, you know, like a special announcement that there's about to be a crusade. There's normally like a little cutscene we can watch when there's a crusade, but no. On this occasion there is not. Right. So, I guess we're going to Cairo then. Maybe you only get the special little cutscene if you're the one who kind of promises the crusade, or maybe it's going to be announced next turn. But yeah, there's a lovely little kind of cutscene that shows up at the side that you can play a little video that plays when there's a crusade. Basically, a crusade is the Pope decides he's had enough of all of these territories over here. Technically, many of them don't actually belong to a faction. Many of them are just kind of rebel. But the unifying factor is typically not Christianity. Though actually, the Pope generally doesn't care so much about Orthodox Christianity. That's kind of a bit, you know, of a hangover of the old kind of, you know, descendants of Rome thing going on, where generally the Catholic Christians and the Orthodox Christians will mostly leave each other alone. In fact, actually, in terms of reputation, the Pope doesn't like it too much if you cause too much trouble for the Byzantines, for example, or the Russians, I don't think. Actually, I don't think he cares so much about the Russians. I'm genuinely not sure. But yeah, basically, there's a huge number of territories around here in the Middle East and thereabout that are predominantly Muslim. And the Pope, being Catholic, is not so desperately keen on that, so he set up a crusade to go and actually sort it out. Now, because I'm so liked by the Pope, I could have actually asked him to do this last turn, and because I'm so liked by him, I could have actually basically picked a kind of territory of my choosing. I might have gone for Antioch, because Antioch is seriously, seriously rich. Antioch is a really valuable province. Cairo is okay, but like it doesn't actually have access to the Mediterranean. So if we do go down there, we might want to try and take Alexandria at the same time. So I guess that's what we're doing, because basically, if there's a flipping crusade going on, you abso-flipping-lutely want to be part of it. Yes, because crusades are just a really good way of... Ooh! Speak of the devil, this is just flipping perfect. We've got a crappy little rebel army here. If I can just beat these guys up, then I'll probably get a general out of it too. That's just what I wanted, yes. Unfortunately, a priest is so useless as a spy, even when this guy's standing next to him, I cannot actually see what's in this army. Now, as for my spy here, let's just have a little look-see at this guy. Can we get in here? He's 37. You know what? I can do better. I think I might actually just... it's actually been a few turns since I've actually had a suitor show up for Ingrid. I know she doesn't know that she's getting on, but by medieval standards, 25, woman should probably be married by now. So possibly I'm not going to get that many more suitors coming in for Ingrid, in which case I need to actually find someone to marry her to. Right, Colbane of Homer, or just Homer as I call him, get in here if you could be so kind. Right, in we go, and that makes you better as a spy. Lovely. Now, are you in any way worth seducing? He's, intelligent, but an incompetent trader. Lacks justice, firm ruler. Intelligence really, really good, but he's 37. If I was going to snipe someone, I'd want to snipe someone who was, like, young. Oh, and by the way, you can't seduce the Pope. There's no way to seduce the Pope, not actually allowed, tragically. Okay, over here in Poland, we have got the rather marvellously named Boleslaw Herman, who is 26, and, okay, chivalry leaves something to be desired, but he's loyal, and he's looking like he's a very, very good commander. Could send my spy over there to have a little look-see at him. I'm going to just start her moving north here, because the only person in the south I might be interested in is Peringasu over on the French side, but he's way out of the way and he's not actually that good. I'm going to start her moving north. I'm going to have my spy go and check out that Polish guy, and we might find a nice Polish man for our Ingrid to be married to, in fact. Actually, I might just leave him down here. We might get a new spy coming in, though actually to do that I need to... No, actually, I can train a spy here. A spy is fine. I do already have a brothel. Thankfully, I've already got a brothel going on here. Now, you, Svein of Tasselac, sadly, I can't actually rename you because I'm not sure I'm even pronouncing your name correctly. I wouldn't mind just renaming you slightly. Oslo! Oslo is mine. This is marvellous goodness. You better be ready to grow, by the way. You better. There we go. Wooden Palisade, 600 florins every flipping time. Get that tax rate back up to maximum marvellous. So we'll have a proper village there soon. Now, Oslo. Wooden Castle right now. Ooh! Population 2,200 already? Wow, okay, I missed the fact that this place was already pretty damn big. Alright, this is really, really good. Because Oslo, even though it's a castle right now, you can see it's already got flipping... can't see because I haven't actually got visibility of that. That might be iron, in which case you could actually build mines for that. Not very valuable mines, but valuable enough. This place already has flipping furs and timber ×2 and fish. This is a very valuable trading settlement. So we're going to turn it straight over into a town. So this is being converted into a town immediately. Though, actually, before the process is complete, I can actually retrain some of my troops here, which is nice. Because, yeah, obviously, this place actually has come with some Viking Raiders and Scouts built into it ready to go, so I can actually upgrade my guys here. And to save time, let's just merge you two together, and then we can do both the Viking Raiders and the Scouts. Though, alternatively, I could just get them moving south. Could get them moving, like, right now, which is actually, yeah, that's probably for the better. I probably just want to get them moving, because we've got a crusade in our hands right now, and pretty much I'm planning to send Charles over to do that crusade. Because having a faction heir go on a crusade is great for him. He'll get loads of chivalry, loads of good traits, loads of, like, everything good in the world, basically. So it will make him a much better faction leader when the time comes. So Charles is heading on that crusade. And we want to start the crusade sooner rather than later, because technically, there is only like one winner of the crusade. It's whoever actually gets to Cairo and takes it. If our army gets down here when like someone else takes Cairo, we can just take something else. We won't get anywhere near as much benefit in terms of like Charles's personality, the benefit of the Pope and the rewards and all of that sort of thing. So we do actually want to win the crusade, and we're at a disadvantage, of course. We start way up here in North Europe. There's nothing to stop, for example, say, like, you know, Hungary joining the campaign, like, tomorrow, jumping in a boat they've probably already flipping got somewhere, and then just basically sailing it straight down here, straight to Cairo. Sicily could join the campaign and have a flipping army there in, like, a few turns. And me, all my armies are currently stuck up north, need to be actually moved down south before we can even flipping join the crusade. And we don't have an army ready to go to do that at all. So, basically, we need to be in a hurry. So, Charles, sadly we can't actually retrain our troops here. I'm just going to leave some very basic stuff here. We're going to leave one spear militia to guard this place. We'll train some more troops if we have to. And these guys heading back down south in a hurry. I'll drop you off here, but then I'm actually going to use, next turn we'll actually have you back in the fleet. And we'll actually use the fleet to get you back a bit quicker. Because normally it would take you like 3 turns to get down back to Hamburg, where we can train up a new army. John can get you there much faster. So, that place becoming a town. This place also becoming a town. Everyone gets to become a town right now. As for Helsinki, well, we just need to take that place over full stop. Though we do actually have a bit of a disadvantage here, which is they've actually got more indirect fire than us at the moment, which is interesting. But Viking Raiders, and we've actually got the dismounted Hussars. So, in a straight one-on-one fight, we're fine. Plus, we've brought cavalry, they haven't. This is going to be scrappy, but we can pull it off. Also, did I just see... Ooh... 0% Catholicism here, apparently. Oh dear. Yeah, there's a lot of pagans, so we're going to have to send some priests over in this direction, otherwise the Pope's going to get stroppy with us sooner or later. So, King Canoodle, this is your job. Sadly, the guy who just got brought into the family, he doesn't actually get teleported into that army as usually it would have been. Instead, Sven of Milton Keynes, you actually get to be down here in our house. So you're training a spy right now. Lovely, well done. And speaking of which, this guy needs to get back in here and could do with some retraining. Lovely. And your market's almost done as well. Ah, yes, we also have down here, Toke, Toke, Toke. Step away from the silver for a second. We've got some stuff you can do here. Now, we've got one guy who's 3 out of 10, and this guy is, 2 out of 10. Marvellous. Let's finish this guy off first. In order to get myself some experience, they'll let me take this guy out. So, 76% chance for this working. In we go. And just do your lovely little gesture at that man. There we are. Just pick his pocket quickly. And he tries to do something in return. And he has ceased to exist. Marvellous. So, we have acquired that man's profits. You can see there our money has jumped very, very nicely indeed. Though I haven't actually picked up a perk out of that. Oh, the other thing I was thinking about merchants is, as merchants get more and more powerful, of course, they're making enemies. So they often pick up traits like a few enemies, reducing their personal security. So if you're into a really powerful merchant that's annoying you, just basically send an assassin to take care of them. Because basically if they get too good at being a merchant for other merchants to snipe them, assassins normally can do the job pretty easily. So actually merchants are a good thing to train young assassins on. Now, as for this guy, obviously we can't do anything this turn because it's only one thing per turn. Let's just return to our silver mine, and we will take care of that man later. But to be honest, I probably want Toke to start heading in this direction because, yeah, the resources down here, close by to Antwerp, these flipping tech stars, 61 florins a turn. That starts stacking up very, very quickly indeed, like that. And as for the forces of Hamburg, let's actually send 3 of them off in this direction to go and deal with Captain whoever this is. So these guys head over here. Still have no visibility for what I'm taking on. I might be walking into flipping Imperial Knights or something. I might be about to be slaughtered by these guys. I have no clue. Actually, they're probably not that tough because the banner's not looking so full. So they're probably nothing major. Now, Helsinki needs to fall to us. This is going to be scrappy, but we can pull it off. Ah, it's not even full strength. Yeah, the Russians had a go at this, but they did indeed get beaten, which is unfortunate. So, yeah, one of these Viking raiders very badly damaged. Ditto one of these crossbowmen militia. Fine, this is even easier than I thought in that case. Interesting thing about crossbowmen, of course, while they do technically seem like superior to just basic archers in pretty much every way, they're often more powerful, they've got the armor piercing, which most archers don't actually do. They have one fairly major disadvantage, which is, unlike archers, who can all have flaming arrows, crossbowmen can't have flaming arrows, so as a result, they're less useful at taking out siege equipment. Which is useful, because I've only got one flipping ram here. So, yeah, I've kind of got to hope this thing makes it to the walls, otherwise we're in a bit of trouble. Speaking of which, I'm going to keep my own Viking raiders back, and you mercenary spearmen, you can take this to the gates. So, over you go in this direction, but yeah, basic crappy Mott and Bailey walls. Like, I'd be ludicrously unlucky if they were able to actually take out my ram before I get it to the gates. In fact, I need to be more than unlucky because right now they're not actually manning the towers. They've not actually left a unit here. So the towers aren't even on. So that's good. So what I should probably do as a result is, yeah, I'm just going to bring up my mercenary crossbowmen, see if I can actually get a shot at them on the plaza. So of course we've got long range fire, they don't. And yes, indeed, we do have fire here. My own guys are being fired upon by the crossbowmen, but now we can actually fire back as well. They're totally firing at these guys. I'm firing at these guys. Everything is okay. So in come my mercenary crossbowmen. These guys are taking a bit of a battering, but it's fine. We're getting in a good battering of our own too. So just follow the fire here. Fire coming in against these Viking raiders. Yep, they all start going down pretty quickly.
Now is the time for brave hearts and brave deeds.
It indeed could be the time for brave hearts and brave deeds, or it could be the time for pulling back like a coward and simply letting my crossbowmen do a ton of damage to anyone stupid enough to stand nearby to me. So simply just fire into the units back there, just fire over here. There we are. Oh yeah, look how fast crossbow militia goes down. Indirect fire troops are so weak to indirect fire themselves, it's ridiculous. So let's just let my crossbow guys just tear these bastards apart. And in come the arrows. Not good for you, lads. Now, with the crossbow militia already battered, where actually is the other unit of... Okay, there's the other unit of infantry. They're the battered one. Let's focus on this guy. If we can just take these guys out pretty much, then we should be in very, very good shape. Just going to bring my mercenary crossbowmen more like here, so some of them have a shot through the door, actually. Yeah, nice and lined up about here. This should do better. There we are. That's doing a lot more damage per volley. Lovely. Yeah, some of these guys now have a direct shot through the actual gates that are open. So, lots of severe damage done. All they've really got left at this point is, yeah, 97 Viking raiders. Pretty much all I need to do is send my dismounted Huskarls in, and they will pretty much chew through anything in front of them, and life will be good. So, lads, in you go. You are leading the charge, and the Viking raiders are going to be behind you. Oh, I've made a change to the graphics, by the way. There's a really interesting little fun thing about Medieval 2, which is you may have noticed in previous battles, like just as happened in Rome 1, when you get like too far away from the actual units, if you move far away, they got swapped over to little just kind of sprites in order to basically save memory and keep the game running. Because of course, you know, when this was made, computers weren't so powerful. But there is actually a secret hidden graphical setting inside Medieval 2, which you cannot actually choose inside the graphics options. Basically, that option says, no, turn that off. It doesn't matter how far away you are, these units will never become sprites. They'll just stay as little 3D models. To do that, you actually need to make a change to the game files. The highest graphics setting you can set unit detail to in the graphics section is not the highest setting. There's a higher one if you just change some wordings back end. I will link to instructions for how to do it in the description below, because yeah, modern powerful computers, like mine's not a great computer, but it's good enough to handle this at a lovely smooth frame rate, even with like every single unit being properly 3D modeled. So, as a result, oh, you get in here, by the way, help out. But yeah, even my computer can very easily handle this, with every single unit now being a 3D model and never a sprite. So things should actually look a little bit nicer this episode versus previous episodes, so that's good. Now, you guys are doing a very, very good job, hopefully at least. I think some of you are actually probably being spat on by arrows, and you can just chop your way through these Viking raiders, and ooh, you are being shot at a little bit, mind. I'm just going to send in I'm going to send you round the back if you can. Let me see if I can send some cavalry in as well. My cavalry might be able to push through here and basically just stop these guys firing. It's not so much I actually want my cavalry to take out these guys, but yeah, these guys are doing a decent job to my infantry because they're armor piercing. And therefore, I'd like to get my cavalry around the back just to basically stop them firing. And that will just let these guys be free to chop their way through these guys. You guys are, yeah, you guys are still eager. These guys, because they're proper elite heavy infantry, they'll hang on for some time yet. They'll be fine. Though we do actually have a little bit of a log jam at the front gates. Come on, guys. Get in there. Hurry up. But this all helps out, by the way, because, of course, these guys will actually see things like, you know, distraught by the number of enemies. As more and more guys pile in, the chance of them breaking rises. So I just want my horses to basically just ride straight past. And they could actually just kind of flank, to be honest. In fact, you know what? These guys are breaking, so just quickly capture as many of them as possible, because all the ones we capture now can't make it to the plaza and won't regroup later. So in which case, you guys just get over there and just temporarily distract. Lovely. And you guys go to here. And you guys, meanwhile, just keep focusing on the actual infantry. Lovely. In fact, they're pretty much already dead, aren't they? Marvellous. So in go my scouts, and now my scouts are here, these guys won't really be able to fire anymore. I say, watching them actually fire. Come on, lads. Get in the back. Get in the back over here. Enemy general taken out. Lovely. And at this point, these guys are not even doing anything, so get them into the back. In fact, I'm just going to get my horses out of there. My horses don't need to get... No, not all of you. Just some of you. Some of you, please. There we are. You guys, all the rest of you, just keep focusing over here, please. Thank you. But yeah, I want to get my horses out of here because I'd like them to just kind of loop around if they can. No reason for the king not to get involved at this point, by the way. Let's just get the king in here. Why not? So you guys just loop around here and just get around the back of them. Crossbow militia wavering. Lovely. And then you loop around here. How are you guys doing, by the way? Everyone doing fine? Oh, dear. It's proper Viking raiders versus crossbowmen. No longer going so hot for you then. And my scouts loop around to the back and basically now can go into... They don't even need to charge those guys. It's all over. It's all over. Everyone just charge into these guys now. This is all that's left. Marvellous. Job done. Nice and simple. And if we can just push them off the plaza, that'll be the job done, because they are now being attacked from all flipping sides. And in comes the king himself too. Lovely. Anyone left down there? One. It says one, but the reason why you'll sometimes notice there seems like there's a bit of a delay in the unit numbers in Medieval 2 is because an enemy is not deemed to be dead until they're done with their dying animation. So, like, if you shoot someone with an arrow, they'll go like, "Oh, I have been shot with the arrow, and I shall clutch my chest and then slowly dramatically fall to the ground." And until they're actually, like, on the ground and their animation's done, they're not dead, which is why I'll often see units being, like, hit by a charge or hit by arrows, and then the number won't go down, but then, like, 2 seconds later it will. It's because they're all going through their dying animation, so there's a bit of latency that wasn't really in Rome 1. It's kind of the downside, I guess, of the animations. It would be nice if the counter just updated immediately, like the moment their animation began, rather than waiting for it to be over. But whatever. I suppose maybe some animations can be like interrupted, so I don't know. Anyway, we've lost a few men, as to be expected when you're just taking a town, but in all fairness, pretty clean. And with that, the tiny squeezed-in settlement of Helsinki falls to us. Trait has been increased, occupy the settlement, no need to burn this to ground, and now, yeah, you can barely even see it on the minimap, by the way, but I'm like, kind of, I like to assume we've taken over huge swathes of Finland, we just can't see it. But, yeah, even though, actually, can you even get, yeah, you can. If you hover at exactly the right point, you can indeed see Helsinki region owned by Denmark, but it's so tiny and barely even on the map, you can barely even see it. And it literally just extends to here. So anything beyond this point falls into the Russian capital, which is probably this region. We can't see it very clearly. And speaking of which, I actually need to get... Ooh. Maybe, just maybe, I'll leave a few people up here for now, just like I'm 100% confident the Russians are actually planning to leave. And also, we'll just do that. We can... let's retrain this here cavalry. Have we got that? Yep, we do need to have scouts. Retrain that cavalry there. And let's also get this place upgraded. This place, ultimately, I'm going to want to be a town, like, eventually. But for the time being, when it's all on its own and it's isolated and it's quite far away from any other castles, and we've got the Russian capital right next door, I'm going to leave it as a castle for the time being, because I'm concerned that it could run into trouble. So we're going to upgrade that to a wooden castle as soon as possible. And while, of course, the king's not staying here, we're going to get him out of there. We'll leave a small garrison, enough, hopefully, to spook the Russians. Speaking of which, what is the population? Population's only 800. So it's going to be quite a long time till that place gets to grow to a stone castle, because I think that's 2,000. So that's a fair way off, but we'll just have to deal with that, unfortunately. And that also has left us with pretty much no money as usual. Get used to this. You very often have very little money in Medieval 2. By the way, I am of course aware that, like, Sven of Milton Keynes here, I could send him to join up with, like, this army here, for him to, like, get some battle experience taking on these guys. But if I do, that means this guy can't be promoted. So I'd rather have a promotion and get a 4th general than send Sven of Milton Keynes down there. Because, yeah, then he might get a tiny bit better, but really, like, the game is just, like, begging to promote captains and, like, give me candidates for adoption and stuff. So as a result of that, I'd rather just have the captains getting promoted. That reminds me, actually, an adoption, is he? Yes, he is technically part of the family, and that's all my king is ever going to do, because this is the same cap that actually existed in Rome Total War, if I recall correctly. A person is not allowed to have more than 4 children. I believe that's true, and daughters do count towards that number. Of course, a daughter can be converted into a son through marriage. Sorry, that was a really weird way to phrase that, but you know what I mean. And finally, my little diplomat here, who, while he may be religiously intolerant, is at least very diplomatic and has a foreign dignitary, so, you know, he's getting on okay. Good old Bergthor Thornham. He's actually heading south, and he's reached a purple border. We have found the last remnants of Rome, the Byzantines down here to the south. We'll be with them in just a moment. But that's all we can do for now, but there is well, it's not impossible. The Russians are planning to just basically immediately attack us. They might decide to do it. They could, you know. They have the strength to do it, probably, unless that's like a big number of peasants. Though, we do have the heavy cavalry. We have the heavy cavalry, but our forces are looking severely knackered right now. But, a couple of sally battles, tossing some mercenary crossbowmen, heavy cavalry, few scouts to back them up. We might be able to win in the long run, but it will be a slow grinding victory. So I'm just hoping, now that they've seen they haven't been able to take this territory, the Russians will just back the hell off. In fact, one thing I will do while I'm just passing by, if I'm allowed to... Can I... Oh, no. I literally don't have the money to build a watchtower, so never mind. Though I will say, war against Russia, potentially not the worst idea in the world. Like, I know they say don't invade Russia in winter and all of that, but we are starting to get a little bit crowded in here. We're running out of places to expand, and the Pope's not keen on us waging war against Catholics. He's not so desperately keen on war against Orthodox Christians either, but if it came to it, as we've just seen, there are going to be crusades to the Middle East. Sooner or later, we really could do with some form of port that's out onto the Mediterranean or the Black Sea. I was originally planning to basically hack my way slowly through the Holy Roman Empire to make that happen, or potentially going to Prague and making a bit of a kind of a grab that way for that, because then we would only be a couple of territories out from pulling that off. But potentially, basically just kind of looping around the outside of Poland, knocking out Russia, then taking a couple of massive territories to get over to this sort of bit of the world, kind of taking over modern day Ukraine and Crimea and that sort of area. That would give me a port that would actually let me get boats down towards the Middle East. That could potentially work nicely. That is worth thinking about. Still, let's end this turn and see what the Russians do decide to do, because if they decide to attack me, then they've pretty much made the decision for me. The Holy Roman Empire is showing up. Do you guys want anything? I mean, there's no one there for her to try and seduce. No, nothing yet. That guy is heading north. Fine, we want to go and snipe him with my merchant. No, nothing. And reinforced region. You want Hamburg reinforced, do you? You know what? I flipping agree with you. What are you going to give me if I do it, by the way? No, I don't need military units. You're just going to give me flipping peasants again, aren't you? How many more units do you want, by the way? At least 4 units. Well, I tell you what. I've got 2 flipping peasants up here that aren't flipping doing anything. That can head in that direction. Marvellous. And we have actually just become the largest faction in the world, which isn't as good as it sounds. Because, yeah, basically all of our settlements are woefully underdeveloped. We've just got this crappy basic town here, so this isn't really going anywhere fast. But on the plus side, we could put the tax rate up, except of course we can't, because it's technically overpopulation. It's over 2,000. We haven't got a wooden wall set up yet, so probably, yeah, a combination of, some paganism, unrest from region haven't been taken over, distant capital, some squalor. Yeah, in time we'll be able to upgrade that, just not quite yet. Let's just get some roads built here, alright? And this place is going to be a town very soon indeed. The Russians have not wandered off. It worries me the Russians haven't wandered off. Well, in either case, unfortunately, we do kind of need to get our faction out of there. There's no point in him just hanging out here in this crappy little castle. But I do think we need to leave quite a bit of this strength here. I would say, let's take the dismounted Hussars. We won't be able to actually train them up anytime soon, or rather retrain them. So let's get him and the dismounted Hussars back down towards Hamburg. Everyone else? Yeah, you just have to stay up here. Unfortunately, that does mean... That means I can't build any towers. Maybe I'll build 1 tower on the way out if I'm allowed to. Come on, let me build one. Come on, there we go. One watchtower. That's nice at least. And we can indeed see at least, yes, there is the Russian capital region. It would have been nice to actually just kind of, you know, build some roads and shove a flipping tower here. But you need to get out of here. This is not a worthy place for you, to be honest. Though actually, you could just hang around for a bit. Could hang around for a bit. I mean, really, what's the king got to do other than that right now? Like, he's not busy with anything else. No, we need this force on its way. You head in this direction. We'll keep a small other force up here, and in time, when we've either destroyed or made friends with the Russians, then we will actually just kind of turn this place into a town. For now, castle needs to be kept safe. And if they decide to attack us, then that's fine. That means non-Catholics have just attacked Catholics. That will annoy the Pope so much that he won't care if I basically just wage total war on the Russians. So that will be 100% fine. Right, on we come. Let's get our faction leader home. Yes, of course, and we do indeed have a new spy who's just going to go and keep an eye over here towards Thorn. Because potentially it might be useful for us to seduce the person who lives here. Speaking of which, Princess, you just keep heading northwards. And confirmation that crappy little rebel army is crossbow militia and something. And if crossbow militia is on the left, that means it's probably the more interesting, powerful unit. So I'm pretty sure our little army of 3 can handle that. Yes, indeed, they're backing off in fear. What were they in the end? Town militia and crossbow. Right, I'm just going to quickly mop these guys up because I might get a general out of it. Yes, I believe dismounted Hussars can indeed handle town militia. Oh, this is cute. There's a nice little abbey here, and they're actually kind of hiding around the back of it because it happens to be pretty good high ground. That's nice. Yeah, there were a lot more significant sized buildings actually inside the battle maps in Medieval 2 next to Rome, which was nice, because they did actually have, like, proper tactical uses. Like, if you were, like, on a big defensive battle, you could just, like, have, you know, a defensive line here, knowing that the abbey was kind of partly blocking one of your flanks. It was quite nice. Probably, you know, the Pope doesn't approve of abbeys being used as a way of actually, like, you know, defending your own flank, but whatever, the Pope's not here. Well, as we don't have much in the way of cavalry, may as well just kind of treat this pretty straight up. My dismounted Hussars are just going straight after the town militia. Everyone else is just basically just going to take some pot shots at the crossbow militia as they're more vulnerable to it. Meanwhile, my spearmen are just heading around the side as quickly as possible to basically front up to the crossbowmen, stop them actually firing, because they're the only ones who can do any significant damage to my dismounted Hussars, and they're going to be the most expensive to retrain later. Right, my archers have a shot there, standing next to the abbey. They can start firing. The crossbowmen probably will do too. And weirdly, the crossbow militia want to be up front. And they've just changed their minds. They've changed their minds just in time to be shot in the back, which is bloody convenient. Right, guys, in we go. And you guys just keep heading over here. These guys can either chase off the crossbow militia if need be, or they can just flank these guys and basically cause them to break immediately. So these guys are now just going to charge in. These guys will tear apart town militia. It's not even going to be funny how much better my guys are. You guys go around here. These guys are technically reloading, so I'm just going to get around the back of them. And actually, as the fight's now going to go in this sort of direction, I'm going to turn fire at will off and skirmish mode off. I'm just going to move these guys around the side and just shoot these guys in the back. Because, yeah, basically I can stop these guys ever firing again by just chasing them down with superior troops. Meanwhile, my archers can just head up here and just basically start shooting at these guys. They're already flipping wavering, so a couple of volleys of arrows into the side of them, that'll shut them up forever. So in we go over here, and already wavering, and that's it. We've got a good shot without actually worrying about hitting our own troops. Archers, just shoot these guys. Lovely. And any chance we'll kind of run into those crossbowmen at any point? Not just yet. In we go, shooting them right in the side, and they break immediately. To be expected, really. Now stop firing, they might hit my guys by mistake. Now what I kind of need to do is I need to bait these guys back a little bit, because right now they're just running away from my spear militia, so therefore they're just constantly running away and they'll never actually stop and turn and fight. So unfortunately I'm going to need to accept a few shots in the back, because without cavalry to chase down these crossmen, they'll basically just keep running forever, which is very, very annoying indeed. But I've got the high ground, so my archers can start firing on them at a greater range than they can fire on me. So my archers will start firing on these guys soon. You see there, it says they were clearly, like, you know, they had to go through their dying animation before they were allowed to actually kind of have the number updated. So you guys fire on these guys. These guys are just chasing these guys, and very soon If I just kind of move these guys forward. There's another little trick you can do, by the way. This actually worked in Rome too, which is if you actually like click on a unit with skirmish mode on, they'll start running. But if you just kind of click like nearby to them and swing to the last minute, sometimes they get a bit confused and they'll actually they won't realise they're the target because like nothing's getting close to them. Because it's not actually done on proximity. It's done on proximity of something that's actually targeting them. So you see here, these guys are actually, they were briefly running towards me because I wasn't actually clicking on them with my mercenary spearman. My mercenary spearman is simply heading over here. So as a result, they're not really kind of convinced they need to be running away anymore. So they kind of go backwards and forwards a little bit. It just confuses them slightly. And it gives my archers some time to line up some shots. Yeah, really should remember to bring some scouts with me, unfortunately. This is going to be a bit of a slow one to end. I just need someone to actually pin these guys in place, but it's going to take a while. Oh, close up on my archers, by the way. I love this because, of course, we upgraded these archers to have padded armor. They are literally wearing padded armor. Unlike in Rome Total War, where armor was just like a thing on the stats screen and on the character cards, but didn't actually exist on the battlefield. No, in Medieval 2, when you upgrade someone's armor, they actually do have upgraded armor. They're wearing the right armor, which is really, really damn cool. So these guys are actually wearing proper kind of leather padded armor because that's what I gave them. And finally, they've broken. Lovely. Nice, simple, handful of casualties, may need to a couple of crossbow bolts into my mercenary spearmen, nothing major. If I'm very, very lucky, I'll get an actual general out of that. Come on, general. Yep. Oh my goodness, he's actually really damn good. Right. So, we have got ourselves aspiring commander, +2 on the command, talent for command. He's loyal, +1 chivalry, +2 loyalty, fair fighter. We've got and he's only 20. Oh my goodness, Captain Sigvat, you are amazing. What's your full proper name going to be? You are welcome to the family. Well, actually, not the family. You're not welcome to the family. The whole point is you're not welcome to the family at all, because technically you're not part of the family. You are indeed Sigvat Stenger. You know what? His name's close enough to Steve that he's going to be Steve Stenger, and that's the end of it. I'm not hearing anything else. We've got Steve Stenger and Sven of Milton Keynes. Those are our 2 new family members. Or rather, yeah, as I say, not actually family members. Because, this I wasn't expecting. So this guy has in fact been brought into the family. And I wasn't actually expecting that to happen. I was assuming he was going to be a general. And if I wanted him to be a family member, he was going to have to be married in. But no. Instead, he's technically been adopted as the son of Prince Charles. Which is a bit awkward because Prince Charles is actually 26 years old. And Steve Stenger is actually only 20. So, you know, broadly, you know, depending on how old they look, potentially some people might assume that Steve was the older or something. But no, Steve Stenger has actually been brought straight into the family. Which, yeah, I really wasn't expecting, because I assumed the promoted captains would always be generals and thus not exist in the family tree. But apparently not. Which is weird. So if you happen to know exactly how that works off the top of your head, please do let me know in the comments below, because I'm actually not 100% sure as a result. Still, on the plus side, no one else has actually joined the Crusade yet, so we're not late to the Crusade or anything, and we're doing very, very nicely on the ratings. We're moving up in the world militarily, financially, population overall. Yeah, even though we're like #1 in the world, apparently, in number of territories, we're only #6 in the world in population, because, yeah, many of our territories are so flipping tiny. But still, let's get these troops back to Hamburg. They can do with a bit of retraining yet. Still, 4 family members and Scandinavia reunited under Danish rule, albeit there's a little bit of a threat from Russia. What is it with the Russians and causing trouble in Finland? Bloody hell, eh? But I would say we're looking in pretty good shape here. Yeah, I'm much happier. Now we're up to 4 family members, together with a rather charming Polish young man, who I've got my eye on for Ingrid, potentially. But next time, ladies and gentlemen, things start getting very, very interesting indeed, because next time, we've got our first crusade to kick off, and I've got to decide who to send. Like, I'm very, very inclined to send Charles, because he's going to be faction leader one day, so him going on a crusade will be very, very good for his personal development. Plus, he's a young kid. We can just basically treat it as a gap year. This is just going to be Prince Charles's gap year down to Cairo. I'm sure it's absolutely flipping lovely. So, we'll see what we can do to get down there, and hopefully we won't get beaten down there. No one else has joined the crusade yet, but a fair few people very likely will, and if they do, some of them are potentially going to have a good head start based purely on geography over us. So hopefully, we'll be able to beat them to Cairo anyway. So, the first Great Crusade begins next time, ladies and gentlemen. But in the meantime, I've been John, this has been many a true nerd, and this has been Medieval 2 Total War. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Okay, guys, I need you out of the way so I can fish. Sorry. I just really, really need to fishing, okay? Whoa. Emotions are forbidden, alright? Oh my goodness, I get to ride a moose. Screw you, you don't get a moose. Oh, I've got an arm! Oh my goodness, yes! Who's got the giant buzzsaw arm now, you bastard?